Hi Fail Grid fans! Welcome to our next series of mechanic apprentices failing miserably at work, where wrenches slip, engines sputter, and lessons hit hard. Sometimes deadly. You'll see it. Let's crank up the chaos. Two mechanics prep a massive truck tire. One decides to torch it before mounting, all expected that the fire would cool off. But too much fuel and too much pressure. The flame grows, then boom. The tire explodes, sending debris flying. The force shakes the entire shop. A risky shortcut turns into a near-deadly disaster, all caught on camera. Two mechanics work on a Ford KA. One welding the door. Sparks fly and one lands in spilled oil. Flames erupt instantly, spreading fast, catching on nearby objects. The fire grows right below the welder. His coworker sees it, panics, and grabs a burning object with his bare hands. A bad idea instead of using an extinguisher. He throws it outside. The welder finally grabs one and puts the fire out properly. This machine nearly became a tombstone. A front-end loader sits in place as workers release its hydraulic pressure. Everything seems fine until the machine suddenly drops. The massive weight slams down, shaking the ground. The crew scrambles, crawling out just in time. Dust and steel explode on impact. A second slower, and they would be buried under it. Another noob mechanic and hydraulic explosion. Mechanic work on an excavator's hydraulics. One bolts a pipe while another gives instructions, but he tightens it beyond the limit. Pressure builds and the pipe bursts. A deafening blast echoes as oil sprays everywhere. The boom tips over, shaking the machine. The mechanic, drenched in oil, stumbles back. A mechanic fills a wheelbarrow tire, misreading the pressure gauge. The numbers climb, but he does not notice. Another mechanic steps in to assist, but it was too late. The tire is overinflated, more than twice the limit. A deafening blast erupts, knocking both men back. Air and rubber fly everywhere. Luckily, no serious injuries, just a painful lesson in reading gauges right. Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, a mechanic heats a pinch bolt to free a stuck ball joint. He loosens it, then boom, the joint suddenly launches like a missile, blasting out with force. The loud pop rattles the shop, likely taking an eardrum with it. The mechanic jumps back, startled. One wrong move, and that could have hit much worse. A mechanic tests a truck engine, revving it high. The accelerator sticks, pushing the engine to its max. A deafening blast follows. Oil bursts out, spraying everywhere. The engine casing shatters, leaving a gaping hole.
Both sides. Wow.
The mechanic stares in shock as the gas pedal is completely gone. One test too far, and the engine is left in ruins. A group rolls a massive truck tire in place for inflation. The worker handling it looks inexperienced. He overfills it, pushing past the limit. The lock slips and an earth-shattering blast occurs. The man behind the tire is thrown backward, crashing hard. Others scatter in fear. As the dust settles, people rush in to help. A pickup truck sits high on a lift, secured by side clamp. A senior mechanic makes an adjustment to the hoist, raising it even higher. The truck tilts forward. His assistant rushes in, both trying to hold it down. But there was no chance as the truck's weight overpowered them. The truck tips, flips midair, and lands upside down. The shop falls silent as they stare at their costly mistake. An AC mechanic repairs a compressor. Finishing the job, he sets to test it. He asks his assistant to switch it on. The assistant flips the switch, then disaster. A hidden gas leak ignites instantly. Flames erupt, the senior mechanic jolts back, but the assistant reacts fast, grabbing an extinguisher. Fire out, disaster avoided. One spark away from a much worse outcome. At an auto shop, a mechanic works under a lifted car. Everything seems fine until the car shifts. The ramp tilts backward. The vehicle starts to fall. Instinct kicks in. He grabs the front tire, thinking it might stop the drop. Big mistake. The tire pops off, sending him tumbling. The car lurches forward, changing direction mid-fall. In seconds, it slams down, trapping him underneath. A mechanic inspects an excavator before work. Suddenly, a hydraulic pipe bursts. Oil shoots out, drenching him instantly. He turns to escape, but another disaster strikes. A heavy beam collapses, crashing down right behind him. Sets in as he scrambles for safety. A second slower, and he would be trapped. The site is left soaked in oil and debris. At an auto shop, a mechanic welds, focused on his work. Sparks fly and one lands unnoticed in a trash can. Inside, paper and plastic smolder. Within seconds, flames rise. The can explodes, sending debris flying. The mechanic stumbles back, barely avoiding the blast. A simple spark turns routine welding into a fiery mess. Fire breaks out under a car mid-repair. The flame catches the mechanic's hand and starts to spread all over the place. Another mechanic grabs a fire extinguisher as it is the standard procedure, but there is a problem. He uses the wrong type. The flames don't die out. Instead, they grow, feeding on the failed attempt. Panic sets in, mechanics abandon the shop as fire engulfs the garage. At an auto stop in China, a mechanic leans into a dump truck, half his body under it. His stomach rests on the front tire as he works. The tire explodes without warning. Smoke fills the air. The force knocks him backward as the truck's body drops. Inches from disaster, he scrambles free. A close call, all from one unexpected blast. A group of mechanics works on an excavator's hydraulic jack. First, they remove the damaged part. The hydraulic bursts, drenching one mechanic in oil. They regroup to fix it, reinstall the jack, and test it. Pressure builds when they expect it to work smoothly. The jack bursts again, spilling oil everywhere. A messy, frustrating repair that ends right where it started, covered in hydraulic fluid. A mechanic works under the hood, focused on the engine. He turns to grab a tool. Bad timing. The car starts rolling backwards, slipping off the lift. He looks up and sees it moving. Panic sets in. passing car barely misses the runaway vehicle. The mechanic sprints, jumps into the driver's seat, and slams the brake. 1 second later, and this could have ended much worse. A mechanic works under a car, head and neck fully beneath the wheel. The jack holds steady until the car shifts slightly downhill. The jack slips. In an instant, the car drops. Metal slams down, set to trap his head, but in a split second he yanks himself out. The jack crumples and the car settles. A near-death escape, all caught on camera. A car sits hoisted for repairs, clamped at the sides. A mechanic steps in to lower it, but he struggles. He yanks the chain, but nothing moves. Another mechanic joins, both pulling harder. The sudden force shakes the clamps loose. The car tilts, then crashes down. Metal bends, parts scatter. A costly mistake, all from rushing the job. In a Plymouth, Indiana shop, a mechanic works on a Jeep's back wheels. Everything seems fine until the front tilts forward. The Jeep tips. In panic, the mechanic grabs the back, trying to stop it. He's lifted off the ground, hanging mid-air, but gravity wins. The Jeep crashes down, taking him with it. As he steps off, the Jeep bounces again, adding even more damage. In an auto shop, a mechanic operates a lathe machine. He leans over to grab a wrench. His shirt catches the spinning metal. The force pulls him in, twisting tighter with every second. He struggles, trying to break free. Just as the machine threatens to drag him completely, it jams. His shirt locks the lathe, saving him from disaster. A mechanic welds under a car, sparks flying, but he misses the real danger as a flame has already caught inside. He keeps working, unaware as sparks fall onto nearby tools. Another mechanic walks by, sees the fire, and shouts. Panic sets in. One worker lowers the car, another grabs an extinguisher. But it's too late. The shop's automatic system kicks in, drowning the fire in foam. A mechanic pushes a car off an in-ground lift ramp, guiding it slowly, but he forgets one thing: the open installation space. One step forward, and he vanishes. He falls straight into the hole. The car rolls downhill as workers turn. Realizing what just happened, luckily the pit is shallow, and he climbs out unharmed. A repair job turns into an unexpected disappearing act. Another near-fatal crush, avoided by pure luck. A mechanic works under a hoisted pickup truck focused on repairs. He bends over, checking something, then calls over a colleague. The second mechanic stands at the side, inspecting the truck. Just then, the first mechanic gets up, moving next to him. Seconds later, the hoist fails. The pickup tips over and crashes exactly where he was moments ago. Three men prepare to mount a tire. The fire is lit, the pressure tube is connected, and everything is set. Then they make a mistake. They stomp on the wheel all at once. The built-up pressure reacts instantly. Boom! The tire explodes, launching all three men backwards. One seems to have gotten a hard blow from the explosion, struggles to get up. Two mechanics begin draining a waste oil caddy. One connects the valve, but forgets to switch the directional control. The result was the explosion of oil. It sprays uncontrollably, covering the walls and floor. One mechanic rushes to stop it, but slips stepping on the oil, crashing down in the mess. The caddy's top blows off. Helpless, they stand back, waiting for the chaos to end. A mechanic gets under a car, ready to drain the oil. He positions a small box to catch the flow. Confident, he opens the valve. The oil pours down with a perfect aim to the box. But then, disaster. The thick liquid bounces off the surface, spraying straight into his face. The laminar flow doesn't stop. A smooth, continuous stream coats the mechanic completely. A mechanic works under a car while two colleagues stand nearby. One holds the jack's stick but gets distracted chatting with the other. The jack slips and the car drops. Half of the mechanic's body is trapped underneath. Panic hits. The two rush back, pumping the jack frantically. Their reaction says it all. This rescue might have come too late. A car sits hoisted on a lift. Waste oil draining into a caddy. Everything seems fine until the caddy wobbles. It tilts, then tips over. Oil floods the floor. The mechanic panics, rushing to stop it. He grabs the caddy, but it slips, sending more oil spilling. He loses his footing, crashes down, and is left soaked in the mess. A mechanic inflates a truck tire, carefully checking the pressure. He seems experienced, filling it in stages, checking multiple times. But something feels off. He pulls the air hose away and inspects. His instinct was right. A split second later, the tire explodes violently. The rubber flies and smoke everywhere. It left everyone in the garage shocked. Enjoyed the mechanical mayhem? Subscribe to Fail Grid for more extreme apprentice fails and heavy equipment disasters. Hit like, share, and stay tuned, because the next fail is always around the corner.